Welcome back, peeps. Thank you guys for tuning in the Band of Bros channel, where we're always taking a look at new tips and tricks to improve your gameplay in Modern Warfare and Warzone mode. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the difference between recoil control, recoil stabilization, and aiming stability. These three are the most important aspects of how recoil works in this game. Today, I'm going to break them down and give you all the info I have about them in the most simplest terms so you guys can understand. And we're going to be doing some testing as well. So hopefully by the end of this video, you guys are going to know what attachments are best for you to minimize that recoil and get every gun to be a laser. And if you do enjoy this kind of content, please like and subscribe and turn the notification bell on. It deeply helps me out a lot. As well, once we get to 8,000 subscribers, I'm going to be giving away one free copy of Call of Duty Cold War. With that being said, let's jump right into this video. And we are back. And before we do start off, I just want to mention that I do stream every single day at 12 a.m. at nighttime, every single day, Warzone. Now let's jump right into this puppy. So let's start off with the easiest one, all right? Let's start off with aiming stability. Aiming stability is basically the idle sway. So as you guys can see in the screen, when you're aiming down scope, I did put a VLK on this one just to make it easier so you guys can see. Look, the one on the left screen, I mean, it is moving like crazy, and the right one, it is not moving at all. And all this does is aiming stability. So basically, while you're aiming, your aim will not move. Now, there is some misconceptions with this one. People just said that this just reduces your idle sway, right? So for example, just what I showed you, if you're aiming, it doesn't move, but it doesn't affect recoil. That is what some certain YouTubers said. Now, I dug in deep into this and I tested it out, and there actually does seem to be quite a little bit of a difference, and we're going to go jump right into that one as well. Now, let's talk about what is recoil control. Recoil control, this is basically the one that, let's go into here into our loadout section just so you guys can see. So recoil control is this one right here, like the compensator, and if you go to the barrel, we've got another one right here, recoil control. Recoil control is the normal recoil that we all know. So it basically fights vertical recoil. When you shoot it, it's going to fight it so that your weapon doesn't go as vertical. Now, let's talk about recoil stabilization, which we got in some of the muzzles right here, like this one right here, like the muzzle blade. What is the difference? Now, people were saying it's the horizontal recoil, right? It stops it from moving from left to right. Now, this is partially right, but it is not entirely true. It is not really horizontal recoil. So let me break it up for you. I'm gonna grab my gun right here and I'm gonna shoot. So as you guys can see here, when I shoot, my gun kind of goes up a little bit and then comes back, right? That is the normal amount of recoil. It shoots and then it tries to push back. The recoil stabilization, what it does is prevents those bounces. So for example, if you'd be shooting a weapon, your weapon, obviously it's not going to bounce this much, but I'm just, trying to simulate it. Your weapon is going to be bouncing from side to side. Again, it's not horizontal in the way that it stops the gun from moving like this, because the M4A1's recoil goes like that. That is not what it means. It just means the side to side bouncing. And what this is going to do is it's going to make your bullets hit closer on target, because if your weapon, instead of moving like this, it's moving like this, the recoil pattern is going to be the same, but the bullets are going to be tighter together. Now, let's put all that into play. All right, so first off, we're going to test it, obviously, with the M4A1 with no recoil. And I've got the wide door here because I think it serves pretty good purpose. So we're going to start off here, and we're just going to go ahead and shoot. Obviously, I'm not trying to judge or anything. I'm not trying to play around or anything, but I will not be trying to hold down the recoil. So we're going to go ahead, unload the 30 bullets in here, and that is the normal pattern for the M4A1. Next up, we're going to choose this M4A1, which I'm going to show you right here, and it's going to have recoil control, so we can see how this one affects. Let's jump right into that one. All right, here we are, and like I said, this one is for recoil control. So let's go ahead a little bit to the right, and we're going to test this one out. We're going to go a little bit back, and just like that. As you guys can see, I mean, that is significant. Definitely significant. The recoil controls, you guys can see the pattern is still the same, but definitely significant. I mean, look at that. That was like just like half the distance. And again, I'm not holding down for recoil or anything like that. Next up, let's go into recoil stabilization. Alright, and we are back, and as you guys can see, this is the M4A1 that I've got selected. We got the muzzle brake for recoil stabilization, and then we've got the other one, the commando for recoil stabilization. Like I said, this is the side-to-side bouncing, and as you guys can see, there is not that many attachments for this, because it is actually quite OP, so it is actually a lot more unique, a lot more useful than many people think. So let's go ahead and shoot it right in the middle, and then we're going to go ahead, 3, 2, 1. And there we go. We unloaded all of the bullets. So now, let me show you something right here. As you guys can see, this is recoil stabilization. As you guys saw, the pattern is the same as the first one, but the bullets are tighter together. As you guys can see here, it's more of a straight line. This one has a lot of cluttered bullets at the start, and this one has a straight line. I mean, look at that. That is a straight line. Like I said, when you shoot, it basically bounces from side to side, and this is what this one's going to prevent. Look at that. It's even steadier than this one, than the recoil control. So again, what this one's going to do is this one's going to allow you to put more precise bullets in the same exact spot. So this one, it does say recoil stabilization, but is more for precise shooting. Now let's jump into aiming stability, which people said that didn't help the recoil control. Alright, so we're at the final one with the aiming stability. Again, remember, this one reduces the idle sway. As you guys can see, I mean, it's like if I'm holding my breath. This ain't moving a bit. So now we're going to go ahead and test it out if the recoil changes or whatnot. So I'm just going to go a little bit down right here, just so I got that same idea. And then we're going to go ahead and spray. And there we go. So as you guys can see, there is actually quite a bit of difference. The recoil definitely did reach almost the same spot as the original M4A1, but just like recoil stabilization, aiming stability is also pretty much the same thing. So again, in previous Call of Duties, your breathing when the dude was moving didn't affect it, because once you started shooting, it cut off. And people said in this one it didn't affect. But as you guys can see here, it's going to act similar to the recoil stabilization in the way that because your breath isn't moving from side to side, this is going to perform a straighter line. As you guys can see here again, the bullets are all scattered into this one. In this one again, look at that. It is a straight line. So as we can see, stability is going to be a lot more important than you guys think. Now, let's jump into the conclusion of this. Again, recoil control, it fights off the vertical one, which is going to be, you know, the main thing that people notice, right? The bullet, the gun moving forward. But let me tell you something. Recoil stabilization and recoil, aiming stability and recoil stabilization, the last two that I showed, are going to be the two of the things that you cannot fight by yourself as a human. What am I talking about? Recoil control, again, you know, it fights off vertical. You can fight that one off. You know, if you learn how to control the weapon's recoil and you know how to move your analog stick while you're shooting, you can fight that one off a bit. But the aiming stability, when you're aiming down sights and your sight is moving, you cannot really fight that one that much. It's just a little bit. So not that much as a recoil control. Now, the one that you really cannot fight off is going to be the recoil stabilization. Again, when you're shooting and your gun kind of bounces from side to side, that is just something that the gun generates when you're shooting, so you cannot change that one at all. So my best bet for you guys is that you actually don't go with full recoil control. That is one of the best things. So if you can't really handle the recoil control, what I would go for is kind of like in the mid, in between, right? So let's jump here into the class setups and let me show you what I mean. So let's say you want a class, you know, with the optic. What I would drop in there is, again, you want a mix of everything so you can have the best weapon. As you guys notice, the one that had the least recoil was the recoil control. You know, it was more compacted, but the bullets will still spread out a little bit. So recoil control is still going to be really important, but you want to mix it up a little bit. So obviously for this one, we're going to go ahead and maybe use like the Commando foregrip, because it's got both aiming stability and recoil stabilization. That is why Commando foregrip was really, it's kind of like a really big popular option. So again, that's what those videos are for. So you guys know what these things are. So we're going to go ahead and drop the underbarrel, right? Next up for the muzzle, a really good one. The one that helped was Compensator, helped a lot with the recoil control. So we're going to drop that in there. And now for the grip tape, we got aiming stability and aiming walking steadiness. We're not going to use aiming stability on this one. We're going to go ahead and use the recoil control. But now for the last one, that's why the tack laser is going to be really important. besides the ADS speed, the aiming stability is going to be really, really important, especially if you are running a scope. It's going to be real important. Now, this is the M4A1 basically that we built. Again, I'm not talking about this is the most damage, this is the most this, that. All right, I'm just talking about that this gun that we have right here is going to be really good for recoil control. And now let's go ahead and test out the creation that we did. Look at that. Lucky us, lucky us. So again, we got all these ones right here, and let's go ahead and do a little bit of testing. So we're going to go right here and then test it out a little bit. And there we go. As you guys can see here, compared to the other ones, look, it definitely did not go as high as these ones that didn't have any recoil control. And look at that, it went almost as high as this one. We took one recoil control thing off, but look at this. The bullets are, I mean, that is like a straight line. Compared to this one, the bullets are definitely jumping a lot more. Now, if we try to control this recoil and just try to land it on one target, let's try to take a look at how that one works. Okay, look, there we go. Not that hard, honestly. If that was a little guy's head, I could definitely be hitting that. Now let me take a look if I can like shoot that one a little bit further away. Let's see how this one works out. Now, I'm not the best guy handling recoil, but as you guys can see, almost every single shot landed in there. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is basically what I got for you guys in the recoil world. Again, if you guys do want to check out a really good recoil control class, then definitely click the link in the video that I am putting in right now. That is probably going to be one of the best non-recoil weapons out there in the game. And yeah, so just to reconfirm again, recoil control is going to be the vertical recoil. Recoil stabilization is the bouncing of the weapon from side to side. Again, it is not the same as horizontal recoil. It is very different. And then aiming stability is going to be when you're aiming down sights, how much your aim is moving while you are aiming. And again, just to reiterate, all these three things do affect recoil control and how bullets are scattered together. If you guys do have any other videos that you guys would like me to cover like this in depth and explaining everything, then please do put it down below in the comments. I would definitely do my best to cover that. And if you guys did enjoy this video, again, I would appreciate if you guys like and subscribe and turn the notification bell on. It deeply helps me out a lot. Now, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next one.